It's time for our first breakout session then now, which is about the benefits and challenges of implementing and achieving accreditation in BIM. We have the founder and the principal engineer of one of Ireland's most innovative practices from Woods PS. Please, everybody, welcome Norman Woods. Norman.
Thank you. Thank you. So, I'm speaking about BIM accreditation, and coming from a small to medium enterprise company who are trading since about 2013. So, I'll introduce myself. So, my name is Norman Woods. I'm a building services engineer. I have an engineering degree in electrical engineering. I also have a Bachelor of Science in BIM digital construction, 30 years experience, and I'm the founder of Woods PS. So who are Woods PS? Who are we? So founded 2013, we're a small to medium enterprise MEP practice, mechanical, electrical, plumbing. We have 12 engineers. Our head office is based in Limerick. We have engineers based in Dublin, Cork, and Ennis, and we serve the island of Ireland. So why did we decide to get formally certified and accredited in BIM ISO 19650? So in Ireland, we're behind the UK. In the UK, the mandate came in 2016. Just last year, our government set up the Capital Works Management Framework. Our internal processes, why we had structured internal processes, those who are familiar with the REBA stages of work, that's the processes we would have implemented. We were growing and progressing our business, and we're looking for better projects. We had spent quite a lot of money with different software companies, including Symmetry, on software packages, and we wanted to fully utilize these products and get the best benefit from them. And we wanted to standardize our internal processes. So the Capital Framework's timeline in Ireland started in January last year, January 2024. So any project over a value of 100 million euros had to be designed in the BIM 19650 format, a 4-year rolling period, and the government wanted to digitize construction. Currently in Ireland, government projects make up about 25% of the construction industry. So why is the Capital Works Management Framework? So as I mentioned previously, 100 million January 2024. As of January 2025, which is current, any project over 20 million has to be designed in the BIM 19650 standard. That's current, and it sits well in project values that we have been doing for the last few years. It's from an SME point of view, where now any government project we have to work on has to be designed in ISO 19650. In June of this year, projects over 10 million, so you can see they're decreasing in value, and it's becoming more and more important to implement the 19650 standard. In June 2026, it's greater than 5 million, January 2027, greater than 1 million, and June 2027, less than 1 million. So by June 2027, if you haven't embraced the 19650 standard and you haven't your business structured to implement it, you're not going to be able to participate in 25% of the projects currently or future constructed in Ireland. So very briefly, 2026, greater than 10 million, 2025, greater than 5 million, 2027, greater than 1 million, 2027, less than 1 million. So, as an SME, what did we do to achieve ISO 19650 accreditation? So one of the first things we did, we engaged a certifier. We are certified to 9001, which a lot of businesses are. He was familiar with our processes. It made sense to engage with the same auditor. We started formal training. So not just by utilizing training companies, we decided, the two directors of the company, myself and my fellow business colleague, decided we'd go back and we'd do third level qualifications. So we got level 8 and level 9, Bachelor of Science, honours degrees in BIM digital construction. We looked for support from our software providers. We all purchase software, we use it, we try and use it to our best benefit, but without the training and support from your providers, you underutilize that software, and we chose Symmetry to help us with that. And we obviously had to make in-house changes in line with the standard. Some of our standards and processes that we developed, those who are familiar with the ISO 19650 standard, there's different stages of a project, and each stage has different milestones and checklists and documents you have to complete. So we developed these, and for each of those stages we have, and if you look here, you can see we have the stages across here, and then we create flow charts, procedure documents, and templates in which we fill out each stage. So that took a bit of time to develop within our business. The standard does dictate these different stages for you, but it's designed for all design partners. Our remit is MEP, so we had to structure them to suit our business. Software tools, those in the room are probably most familiar. We use ACC Docs, we use Autodesk Revit, we also use Symmetry's Navigate, and by implementing the standard, we get to use those tools properly and get the full benefit of them. So obviously this sounds great, but it wasn't as straightforward, as easy as we would have liked. So we had challenges. So time, developing and changing our systems to align with ISO 19650, that's going to take time and training. Cost. When you're an SME, cost is very, very important. It has an impact on your business, so you need to manage that. So you have hardware cost, software cost, training is a cost, and interruption to your day-to-day business. Because this takes time, you're interrupting your project work, and there's a cost for that as well. And then there's cultural resistance. So when I speak about cultural resistance, I think it's underestimated in business. When you've established engineers who are used to processes, used to 2D platforms like AutoCAD, they have to change their processes, which means they have to go backwards before they go forwards. So there's an impact to their day-to-day, and culturally, people don't like that. Your design team partners, as mentioned, we're MEP. We're not typically the lead designer in any project. We work with architectural practices, we work with structural civil practices, and we work with fire engineering practices. Typically, the lead designer is the architect. If the architectural firm hasn't embraced BIM, and they're not leading through a BIM format, it's very difficult for us to implement BIM, and it interrupts our process then, because we have to go backwards to old systems to match what they're doing. So there's a cultural issue there which we have to encourage. Sometimes we still get documents in 2D CAD. We're bringing them into ACC Docs, we're bringing them into Revit, we're designing and developing our processes internally in the 19650 standard as best we can, but we can't implement it properly. So we need other design teams to embrace BIM. And lastly, the client. There's a perception that implementing 19650 is either expensive or it slows down the process. And through our experience, it's not. Like any change, it brings improvements, it brings structure and systems that actually, in our opinion and our experience, improves the process, makes it streamlined, makes it better, and it doesn't cost more. But that perception is still with the client. So again, culturally, we need to change that. Just a quick word on accreditation and certification. So in Ireland, the NSAI, which is the National Standards Association of Ireland, have a register of certified companies within Ireland. As of last week, there's 31 companies listed on that register, which is very small. Of those 31s, there's none that are a small MEP business. We are just certified in it. We'll be one of those companies. There is third-party accreditation that other companies are going down the route that may not be listed on NSAI, and we're aware of companies. And there is companies we are aware that are going through the process at the moment because of the government framework, and this will improve and increase. In the UK, the BRE have listed, they're the only registered body that I could find that lists. There's 133 companies listed. I know you have UCAS here, I know UKAS, and you have LRQA, and we are aware that there is other companies that are certified, but they're not published, or this information is not readily available, which I think should be promoted. So some concluding thoughts. BIM ISO 19650, in our opinion, is here and now. When we talk about Ireland, it's part of the framework. As I was talking through the scaled values that are coming in, currently anything at 20 million plus, June this year, anything 10 million plus, you have to jump on board. If you don't implement this, you're not going to be able to compete in that area, you're not going to be able to get that business. And as you can see from the amount of companies that are listed on the NCA website, there's a lot of work to be done. SME challenges, it takes time to set up and implement the standard within an organization. From our experience and the road we took, it took us 12 months to go from organizing it, developing it, implementing it, and getting certified in it. What we found helped. Formal third level qualification isn't required, but we found it benefited us massively, putting those structures and understanding those processes. Engaging with your auditor. The standard is quite a large document and there's a lot of systems in it. By engaging with your auditor, you can structure your systems and processes to streamline it so it doesn't become a process that makes things more difficult. Using a proactive software supplier, not just buying the software package, not just underutilizing the software package. Getting training, familiarity, and benefits to your software package gets you better value, and it gets you streamlined processes. And start early to get set up. Implementing the process and train your staff. You need to start now, especially in Ireland. I know in the UK you're far further down the line than us, but in Ireland, we really need to promote BIM, we need to make it more aware, we need to make people use it and get the benefit of it. And SMEs, by their nature, we're nimble, we're small, we can change. So thank you for your time. I really appreciate it, and I welcome any questions, Paul.
Thank you. A round of applause, please, for Norman. It's really interesting to hear you talk about, especially the last 12 months and further back. How tough has it actually been for you, Norman?
I think tough is the wrong word. It has
challenging?
It has been challenging, and it has had stumbling blocks, but it has been enjoyable as well. When we took on the process, we looked at the benefits of the process. There is massive benefits. There is systems, standardizations, and the quality of the product you deliver is a much higher quality product. It opens up other markets. One of the things I didn't mention earlier is I focus on the government framework, which is driving it in Ireland at the moment. But if you look at the larger projects, they've already embraced BIM. They've already embraced 19650 standard. And as an SME, that gets us introduced to that sector and gets us better quality projects.
Well, I mean, the dedication you've shown when you were talking about the fact that you've had to set new qualifications. You're running this business.
Yeah.
How on earth do you make it work? Because you're pretty much going back to school and then you're trying to run a business as well.
That certainly was tough.
I knew I'd get the tough bit. That's what I'm aiming for. I'm going for the tough.
So you don't have to get the third level qualification to implement BIM. You can get training. We found we wanted to do it correctly. We wanted to really embrace it. It was long evenings, weekends, holidays interrupted. A lot of us, I'm out of college quite a long time, so going back to college was quite challenging. Sure. It was a relearning experience. It was having to deal with lecturers and producing the information and documents and dissertations that are required, that was fun. But yeah, it was tough.
I think a lot of people will find this once they have a business and a successful business, that they move away from what they loved and pretty much getting your hands dirty and stuck in there. Yeah. Is it that the case for you, or do you feel that you can still be creative and do what you always did?
Yeah, I appreciate and hear where you come from. When you, I suppose, start a business and you work in the business and you are the principal engineer and you're developing and designing all the projects, as that business grows, you end up going into a more management role. But I really, the reason we do what we do and the reason we're successful at what we do is because we enjoy it. It's something we like doing. And I think if you're doing something you like, it becomes easy.
Absolutely.
And yes, I'm very much on a day-to-day involved in the engineering and the development and design. I actually dislike the business management process of it, but it's part of the process.
Sure. And the changes that, I mean, you said 30. I didn't think you'd be old enough to be 30 years in this business. You started when you were about 7, didn't you? but over the 30 years, the changes. I mean, we heard Andre talking about a lot earlier about the changes in environment, et cetera, and that incredible space he was talking about Iceland. What about in business, the changes that you've seen? Because is it been very much in the last 4 or 5 years, or has it just been a constant change that you've seen?
It has been in bursts. So I finished my secondary school education in 1992. I went to college, got my electrical engineering degree. When I came out of that, which was about 1995, in Ireland, there wasn't a lot of work in that industry, and I had been doing part-time work for an electrician.
Right.
So I ended up going back and serving my time as an electrician. So I went backwards before I went forwards. And during that process, 2D CAD was just coming in, so you were getting drawings in 2D CAD. Through the 2000s, it was still 2D CAD, but the software, it was improving. You were getting better documents. And then the transition into 3D and Revit, which is from 2010 onwards, was where I experienced it. The software packages are getting better. The product you're developing is getting easier, and the implementation is getting easier. BIM, I suppose, in the UK is 2016. I think you're far more advanced than BIM here, and it's equally in the Nordics. You're far more advanced in BIM. We're falling behind. But I think that's where the industry is going. It changes, and the technology changes. Today you're probably going to hear about AI, and we hear about AI every day, and that's where the industry is probably going to develop further. So from, I suppose, 1992 to now, there's been massive changes.
Sure. I mean, it's interesting because you say about being slightly behind in Ireland compared to the Nordics, and also here as well. You're not, though, I assume. So who is it, and how do you bring them along with you? Because are you leading the way there?
Yeah, well, I think the government has a responsibility with the framework. I think they were slow in implementing that. I think if you look at the data center, the pharma industry, the pharmaceutical industry in Ireland, a lot of American multinationals, they're driving BIM. And I think speaking in events like this and other events and bringing the companies with you, showing them the benefit of it, will drag it on.
Have you seen many people that have been almost resistant to it, maybe the old school, that are like, well, no, we've always done it this way and I can't change, but you change and you die, don't you? You have to adapt.
I did a speaking event similar to this last week, and after the event, a couple of people came up to me, and there was this guy, and he was talking about when he started, it was drawing board, pencils, sharpeners. Then went to 2D CAD, and you could see panic in his face. He said, I have to go back now and learn Revit. And that's where cultural resistance comes in. The kids coming out of college that we employ, they pick up Revit like that, and it's very easy. The guys who have been working in 2D, they do pick it up if they apply themselves. And it's not that hard. It's just a different way of doing it. So
you can tell your grandmother about working on the internet. You know? It's like, just have a go. You can see. It's made to be simple, and it's made to be able to be useful and to be able to work. What about the business, though? I mean, you're going from strength to strength. I don't want to embarrass you, but things are going extremely well for the company, though.
Yeah, I think we're growing organically, and what we find is you produce a project. That project goes successful. That client, if they do repeat projects, they will produce. We tend to keep all our customers. So every customer we have in 2013, we still have and we still do work for. And then some of the projects we've done and some of the images you've seen there, some of the projects we've done 40, 50, 60 million plus, you get recognized, and that then draws more business. So we don't do a lot of the social, we don't do a lot of the advertising. It's through word of mouth, through success in previous projects, and we're growing organically. So yeah, we're doing I suppose the 12 years we're in business, we're doing very well.
I guess it works from companies like you, even bigger companies, and maybe there's, like my dad was a plumber, and it's word of mouth, isn't it? Word of mouth is the best way of advertising than anything else.
Absolutely. If you get someone that compliments you and speaks well about you, it's better than any advertising, any method of promoting yourself or speaking about yourself. If someone else is happy with some work you produced and they repeat that to someone else, it's a very easy sale after that. It's very easy to get the business.
And are you one of these people that has, well, we have this plan, we have a 5-year plan, this is where we want to be.
Yeah.
You strike me as, you know what, I'll keep doing it and we'll see how things go, or are you a lot more cutthroat than that?
No, not so much cutthroat. I enjoy what I do. I really love my day-to-day. Sometimes when you work very long hours, it can be quite tiresome. I enjoy what I do. So we're growing organically. We do have a business plan. We're not just sailing along, and we're looking to grow. One of the things, so I traded back in 2005, 2007, 2008. We all remember 2008, 2009, 2010. They were quite difficult years. So I'm very cautious about overtrading. I'm very cautious about growing too quick. And I think we have a good mix of customers. One thing we didn't speak about is we're not just in one sector. We spoke about the government sector. We're in multiple different sectors. So we're growing organically and cautiously, and we do have a business plan.
And how many youngsters are going into the business? Because that's always important where the next group are going to come from.
Yeah, the colleges in Ireland are quite good. We recruit every year out of the colleges. We always employ 1 or 2 in the last 2 to 3 years. We have 2 more starting in a couple of months' time. And the kids are good. Because what we're talking about is very heavy software based. The kids these days are very tech. They pick up software, they pick up systems, they pick up that quite easily.
Why is that, do you think?
Yeah.
Is it an open mind?
It's just the environment they grew up on. But the one, and it's not a negative because it's unfair to say it's a negative, you cannot beat site experience when you're talking about what we do. You can put something on a drawing, the computer will accept it, the piece of paper will print it, but that doesn't mean it will work on site. There is huge, and I mentioned briefly earlier, I did the electrician period after I did engineering periods. I found that hugely beneficial to what I was doing. I understood that will not work up there for many reasons, or it cannot fit there. It's not just a regulation. I know the piece of software lets me do it, but it gets to site, it's just not possible. So experiences where they're lacking, but they're not going to get experience unless they come into the world and start.
Listen, Norman, it's really good to see you. Thank you for coming over.
Thank you, Paul.
A very interesting speech as well.
Thank you
very much indeed. Everybody, Norman Woods. Thank you very much, Norman.